Things continue to get worse for The Matrix Resurrections. Not doing very well over on Rotten Tomatoes. As you can see, an audience score of 63%. That's pretty awful. And critics have it sitting at a 65%. Oddly, 2 times now, critics and audiences have agreed. They both agreed on Spider-Man, and they both agree on Matrix. But what's even more hilarious with The Matrix, other than this being an awful movie, is that its box office was a complete flop. In fact, it's duking it out with Sing 2 for second place. So, this is a funny story to me because literally within a week and a half, we got 2 movies that relied heavily on nostalgia. Spider-Man No Way Home. That movie relied heavily on nostalgia, whether you want to admit it or not. I don't know if that movie would have been as good without the characters that they brought back for that movie. But it worked, and it was amazing. And then we have this movie, which is the complete opposite in what you want to do. So, in my opinion, it deserved to die at the box office. It deserved it because it's an awful movie. Awful movie. We're not talking about woke or any of that. It was just a bad movie. At least in my opinion. It's just an awful movie. But now we have more data on just how big of a failure this movie is, because don't forget, the movie was also on HBO Max. And one of the reasons why HBO Max made all of these movies for free with their service this year was to grow HBO Max. This should have been a movie that snagged people in. Instead, it wasn't. In fact, its viewership was quite pathetic. Out of all of the big movies that released on the service this year, day and date with theaters, this one had some of the worst viewership, making it an even bigger failure than it already is. Because even though it's doing poorly at the box office, if it had pulled in big numbers for HBO Max, it would have helped a little bit, because I think that they were planning on losing money anyway. But it's like, okay, well, the service is doing well, and that was the goal of putting all these movies on HBO Max. The goal was to boost the service. And if that had been the case, if this was a different situation and the movie had pulled in huge viewership numbers, then I think we would be having a different conversation and HBO would be a lot happier. Or, Warner would be a lot happier. And that's just not the case here. Warner Brothers Village Roadshow's theatrical day-and-date release of The Matrix Resurrections didn't wow in its 5-day opening at the domestic box office with $22.5 million, while in its HBO Max debut and homes fared okay, watched by 2.8 million smart TV U.S. households over the Wednesday-Sunday period. This is according to fresh stats from Samba TV, which measures streaming viewership across 46 million TV devices with a panel of 3 million smart TV households. So they're saying it did okay, and I'm going to tell you it didn't. They do admit here that this bit into ticket sales, and it absolutely did. But never forget, Godzilla vs. Kong did pretty well in theaters. I think it made $600 million, which is pretty damn good. It also had 5.6 million people watch it on HBO Max, which is numbers coming from their little chart here. In regards to 30-day numbers from Samba, Godzilla vs. Kong is the most watched theatrical day-and-date release on HBO Max with 5.8 million households. Okay, now what that says for Matrix Resurrections lifetime, I don't know. They also say right here that originally Godzilla vs. Kong pulled in 3.6 million from Wednesday to Sunday when it debuted. They also point out that, of course, obviously, the streaming was also probably hurt by piracy this movie was for sure going to get pirated, because when you do this day and date with theater shit, you pretty much give pirates every option in the book for quality wise that they can put on a service. But none of this hurt Godzilla vs. Kong. And this is one of my favorite examples of all this, because Godzilla vs. Kong did good on HBO Max. It did good in theaters. And all that was in spite of piracy. I think Matrix Resurrections is just a bad movie. They got crushed by better movies, and that's just kind of the way it is. There was no interest for this. There was no interest in reviving Matrix with people. I really do believe that, because a lot of us were saying when this dropped, what's the point of making this movie? You kind of did wrap it up, as Critical Drinker said in his review, in a nice bow with the original three. Like, they were wrapped up pretty good. And then, this came out, and it is just awful. And a lot of people saying, "Oh, it meant to not be good." Who goes to just make a movie bad on purpose? I think they were trying to say they were smart, and if you just don't get it, you're dumb or something. I don't know. The movie is just shit, and it deserves what it's getting. It deserves to fail on HBO Max. It deserves to fail in theaters. And it just deserves to be seen as the pile of shit that it is. I'm surprised that a bunch of people are even taking the time to pirate this movie, because it's awful. But apparently, it is rocking the piracy charts, taking 32.6% of the share of top 10 downloads. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I do watch parties, play video games over there. They're always fun. Follow me over there and come hang out. Also, make sure you subscribe to YellowFlash, my other channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. I do a lot of live streams over there that I don't do on this channel. Usually smaller and a little bit more personal. So make sure you follow me over there and sign up.